Just like that, we've been informed. So legally, we now know we're being recorded. Hello, everybody. It's Qumulex Radio. I'm Josh, along with Aaron Newman, as always. And we have Lance and Garrison from Triton Sensors joining us today, which I'm pretty excited about. And Triton Sensors, you guys have really great products and service for. I've actually got one here. I think we're going to do the starter kit later today, right? But this is primarily centered around vape detection. And, I guess if you deal with schools a lot, this is something that you probably already know quite a bit about, but I'll bet we have a lot of friends out there that don't. So maybe just explain to us, why vape detection is such an emerging trend and why that technology is so important.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Josh. Honored to be here. If anyone is familiar with what vape detection is, basically the devices we provide, offer great values to schools and also other, organizations. I'm sure you're well aware, vaping really is an epidemic, not only in our country in America, but also across the world. Um, Especially among teens. Really the trend started, back I'd say in 2018, 2019. The big company was a company called Juul, which
Mhm.
introduced kind of a very sleek, device that, offered, a quick hit of nicotine to anyone that use it. It was started off as kind of like a device that would be used to help people quit smoking. That was the intended use case apparently, but kids found out about it and became kind of like a party trend, and kids really just got addicted and really didn't know what was in these devices. I think I read an article somewhere, one of these pods in a Juul or in a vape has the equivalent of, I think, like 500 cigarettes, which is crazy in
Oh,
terms of
yeah.
nicotine. Yeah, it's wild. And actually, a Netflix documentary called Big Vape just came out about that. And the industry in vaping has evolved considerably, but what hasn't changed is the amount of kids that really are addicted to these things. And just breathing in something which we really don't know anything about it is scary, but it's bad when it's like you're the watermelon flavors or the blueberry flavors, but now we're seeing things like fentanyl and
Oh,
CBD and THC and marijuana getting these devices, and kids just get addicted. It's kind of like big tobacco all over again, a whole new generation getting addicted. So it's really really sad. I think schools and parents really are the ones that bear the brunt of this the most. So that's really what we're here to do, is kind of help detect and deter the use of vaping in schools. I know for older generations, they might be more familiar with people smoking cigarettes in the bathrooms. I know for
right.
our parents' generation, our grandparents, it was just commonplace for people to smoke in bathrooms. Even like schools would have designated smoking rooms. It wouldn't be uncommon to have parents, excuse me, students and teachers both smoke at the same time before the attorney general and people became really aware of what's problem with smoking. So that's the new thing, is just e-cigarettes, vaping. So a lot of the administrators we talked to at school said we don't have a problem with behavior, we have a problem with addiction, which is really really sad. But we're here to just kind of eliminate that threat for schools and for parents and for teachers, and really for students, to make sure that they don't become addicted to vaping and what can come because of that.
I didn't know about the fentanyl. That sounds really scary.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very, very scary. Actually, a district we work with, they had a problem with students using fentanyl in the bathroom. I think they call it Narcan roulette. Basically, where
Whoa.
students would overdose on fentanyl, and then they'd use Narcan to revive each other. And the idea of roulette is, if they could revive each other. So that's really, really scary.
Wow. No, I didn't
Yeah.
know about that. And I was gonna say, we have one in college, so I guess I'm probably in that parents age group for you. We have one that just started college, but I have two younger that are in grade school still. And Ramsey is my son. Last year, I guess they had a lot of trouble. I mean, he was in fifth grade last year, and it was a huge problem. I mean, he was naming off
Yeah.
all the kids get in trouble for vaping in the bathroom, and um, I don't remember when I was that age. I think, there would have always been that one kid that smoked, but
Yeah.
there wasn't I mean, you had to get to at least junior high
Yeah.
before, middle school before you started getting a lot of it. So it seems to me as a parent, it's way more rampant. And is it just because it's so much easier to conceal? I mean, obviously, if you're
Yeah.
in there chain smoking in the bathroom, and in today's world where there is not a smoking lounge for the teachers or the parents, you're definitely going to know somebody smoking a cigarette. Is it just
Yeah.
because it's just so much easier to hide?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's exactly it. Yeah, sorry, thanks for cutting you off. But yeah, like when version when vapes come on the market, they're like these big, clunky things that hard to hide and conceal. But then when kind of Juul came on the market, it's just like this very sleek, almost looks like a jump drive or USB. A lot of people when they first came on the market didn't know exactly what it was. They did think it was a USB or jump drive. And the market's obviously changed since then. But yeah, it's really easy just to pull, one of these things kind of out of your pocket or your backpack and take a hit really quickly. The market's definitely changed. So now it's kind of like a status symbol. I recently read I think it's just the other day, a New York Times article about this. Kind of the new brand is a brand called Elf Bar. So there's a lot of these like Chinese manufacturers making knockoffs of all these different, vapes. And that, brings a whole other problem. Like what is actually in these? We don't know, but it kind of becomes like a party symbol. People just pass it around and it just comes like a kind of part of, different parties among youth and stuff like that.
And we've seen like ABC News did a special where they bought a bunch of disguised vapes, and they had teachers go around the classroom trying to find them. They're hidden in pencils, erasers, even like drawstrings from a hoodie. Yeah, there's even vapes that are hidden in everyday things, and we've seen that legislation really has tried over the years to mitigate that. But kids are clever. They're gonna get what they want, and especially with they're kind of flooding in from China, especially the disposable ones. We've kind of realized that legislation only goes so far.
Wow. So I mean, it makes sense. Cigarette smoking obviously was very rampant. And I remember as a young professional, and I was probably about your guys' age, late 90s. Most of the office buildings I went into had, like in the lunchroom, there was like half of it you could smoke in and half not, as if the smoke didn't wander over. I mean, the airports, I mean, it was so common. So I don't personally know a lot about vaping. I do remember when I first started hearing about it, and I thought, okay, well, I guess it's good, that there's something for people to, quit that habit. And it's as you get older, you start to think, okay, well, here's something, maybe I wouldn't want to start it, but if it helps me quit something that's far worse, then that's a net positive. But now, of course, the unintended consequence is that's the something that the younger people actually start on. And I imagine like it's like a water vapor, right? I mean, it's not smoke, so it kind of dissipates really quickly. So is that part of the reason why they go through all this effort to where it's like hidden? Because I mean, would they be able to just sit in class and do that and maybe not even get caught in class?
Yeah, that's a great point, Josh. What you're saying about with vapes, they were marketed as a safer alternative, a healthier alternative to help people quit smoking, and you hit a nail on the head. And I think it absolutely have helped quitters smoke. You still get the nicotine hit, but without all the other side effects with like cancer and stuff like that. But yeah, and unintended consequence definitely is a whole new generation getting hooked. I think that's the common phrase, and especially with things like marijuana and other illicit chemicals like fentanyl and stuff like that getting in these drugs. It's kind of a gateway to other types of drugs. But yeah, kind of like you mentioned, it is just like a water vapor that is comes out of the device. It goes puffs into the air and then it'll kind of just dissipate into the air. So you don't have like the lingering smell of smoke. Usually, just have a sweet flavor in the air, for instance. So yeah.
So being a kid, you're going to absolutely see if you can push it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Your teacher walks right by you, and then they
Yeah.
take a step, and you would. I mean, I could just imagine. I mean, you make a game out of it, but it's really scary. Yeah, you don't want kids getting addicted to nicotine and doing that. It's man, fentanyl.
Mhm.
I mean, that is just one of the most deadly things I think that we hear about in our society now, and how it gets mixed in with things unexpectedly. And but they're doing it on purpose. They know that. So, I mean, so with this technology, can you only detect at this point in time that it was vaping at all? Are you able to discern between like nicotine or fentanyl or other things and alert them to what it is?
Yeah, right now we discern between vaping, cigarette smoke, and other aerosols like Lysol and spray deodorant. We're working on other drugs and breaking it down more in the future. And that's just as we add more machine learning to our algorithm and as the sensors get more advanced.
Yeah, I mean that's the fentanyl thing, is that pretty new?
Yeah, we've seen
Yeah.
it in a few districts. Unfortunately, like there's even districts, not the ones that are our customers, but we have seen on the news districts where students have even died from overdoses, whether it's
Yeah.
fentanyl or other drugs, whether it's injected drugs or smoke drugs. One of the districts that we work with is before they came to us, they had a student smoking Percocets in the bathroom, which I didn't even know you could do with because that's usually in a pill form, I believe.
Right.
And that creates like a noxious cloud that actually sent the students and two of their security guards to the hospital because the smoke from that is really dangerous.
Wow. I mean, that's really scary.
Yeah,
And, it goes way beyond just, a contraband item that, well, wait till you're an adult and decide. I mean, fentanyl, you may not get there. I mean,
yeah,
that is just really frightening. So definitely it seems like a huge problem that needs to be curbed, because now
yeah,
we're
absolutely.
introducing other things than just the nicotine and where it started. So
Yeah, now more than ever, unfortunately, it's really important to know what's in your air, what's going on in those spaces where cameras aren't able to reach, like bathrooms, locker rooms, classrooms, and that's why over the years with the customer feedback, we've introduced other features besides the drug and chemical detection and the air quality, but also the help words, like the keywords that students can shout if they're in distress, if there's bullying, if there's assault, and also like aggression detection, really smart audio analytics features that are really good indications to go check out what's going on in the restroom, especially and crowding detection as well.
oh, that's really great.
Absolutely.
Well, I think what you're doing is really important. I mean, the more I'm hearing about
Yeah.
this, I mean, how did you guys get started? I mean, I feel like you guys have a kind of an interesting story. I mean, how did you end up in this place where you have Triton?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're exactly right. Kind of the need, for these devices. I'll hit on our founding real quick. But just one thing I wanted to hit on was kind of like piggyback off what Lance said. We're selling, physical, devices, to
Hmm.
schools, and they do an excellent job of, detecting and deterring vaping and other bad things. But we're not selling devices. We're kind of selling changed lives. The best part of my day usually is I get an email from, a customer say, hey, with one of your sectors, we were able to, catch a kid vaping. We put them through an educational program. They've performed. Their grades are better. They're happier. That just makes us feel so good. And so, it makes our day worth it. That's what I absolutely say. So
Yeah.
we're not really, selling devices. We're kind of changing or selling, changed lives and making, students more aware of, the decisions they make. So yeah, that's just
Well,
something
I
I'd add to that.
think that's at the heart of being a true entrepreneur. Is you have, we all need to make money in life, but if we can make a living, but do something that helps others and, achieves a passion that we have in life, I think that's really special. I think that's where you see the most success in life, is where people found something where they can make a real difference. And I think at that point, you're not really just working, but I mean, you have a, kind of a craft or something you really care about in life. So I think you got a very exciting future ahead of you, figuring that out, at such a young age. I think that's really great. But how did you, get started? So,
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, if you could put pieces together, Lance and I are brothers. We're only a year apart. We went to a Catholic high school. We had to wear a uniform. People think we're like Mormons walking around because the two of us, which I always thought was kind of funny. But yeah, very close, in age, but also, relationship wise, kind of like a dynamic duo. But yeah, in high school, Lance founded our STEM club at our high school. We're from Pennsylvania, and every year there's something called the Pennsylvania Governor STEM competition. So Lance and I teamed up along with one of our good friends, Jack Kersey, who's the third founder of our company. We had the idea, or the goal of the competition was to help solve a problem facing Pennsylvania. So, from our nefarious friends, we knew vaping was a very big problem. We didn't know how big a problem it would be, but it was definitely starting to grow. So we developed like a vape detector, a very, very simple device, just made of plastic 3D printed parts, off the shelf stuff. Went to the competition, got third place. Lance and I are very, very competitive. So third is basically last place for us. So that that stuck with us for a while. But that was like February 2020. By March 2020, that's when the pandemic hit. So Lance and Jack actually had an idea to start a company with them, and they kind of looped me in. So I'm like, hey, that sounds fun. Very naive. We never thought, what would ever become of it, how difficult would it be, the blood, sweat, and tears it would take to kind of succeed. But we thought we'd be off school for 2 weeks, in during the start of the pandemic, and we thought we'd do something with our time. So it was like a Monday morning, I think it's the March 17th, I want to say, where that was the kind of start of the world shutting down. They told us to come in school, get our books. So before we did that, Lance, Jack, and I, we met at IHOP. I know NVIDIA started at Denny's. So I guess we got our start at IHOP. We just kind of laid out the plans. We are super naive. We thought we could, develop the device in 2 weeks. We didn't understand, the time and effort and, money and everything it takes involved. But I think it's just that naivety, a little bit of luck and, hard work just kind of took us from there. And we've been very fortunate for the people we've met along the way, for the lives we've changed, and for how it's changed our lives too. We're definitely better educated, more aware, and I think better people because of this company and the journey we've had.
What a blessing, honestly. I mean, when you have something that you're enthusiastic about, you see it as being naive. I mean, I strive for that when I start something new, because you don't want to sit and talk yourself out of it and think about all the challenges and all the, I think that's why a lot of great things don't happen for people. So I think that's, it gives you a better chance to just sort of take the challenges as they come and work towards the next one, and not talk yourself out of it. You guys have built a really great product and a really great company. So I think you guys should be really proud of that. So the last thing I figured I'd touch on is, I mean, right now, I feel like a lot of the discussion we've had is about schools. Mm-hmm. Do you see the need for this technology, expanding into other environments?
Yeah, absolutely. Since the beginning, our goal was to, help and put an end to the vaping epidemic. So I think we've done an excellent job with that in schools. We see in schools, where our devices are installed, about an 80% reduction in vaping, which we're really, really proud of. But I do think we can, expand beyond that. And we are, working on those different verticals, places like, hospitals, healthcare, hospitality, I think are going to be our next, kind of verticals. So I absolutely do think there is a need for that, not only for just, vape and drug detection and chemical detection, but also, air quality monitoring and kind of things along those lines. And Lance might have a little more to add to that as well.
Yeah, unfortunately for us, maybe competition's only getting heavier, but we really enjoy the challenge, and it just forces us to innovate a ton. So whether that be add new features, make our devices super relevant for schools, or also expand into new markets, we're doing that very quickly and very actively. We kind of have a saying here: we don't ship something until like we would trust it to protect like our children, our family. So we really put our heart into developing the best technology that we can, that we can stand behind 100%. And that's why we also include a 10-year warranty with all of our hardware.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
How far has the technology come just since you guys started the business? I mean, I would imagine that, vape is such a broad spectrum, and then to specifically identify chemicals in the air, and I'm sure it's pretty amazing tech at this point.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely. Really far.
Yeah.
The first prototypes were built on the same like Arduinos that we would use in the STEM club at our high school, and from there we would get a little more advanced with some of the math we'd learn in statistics class, but really where we kind of hit our stride is when we started customizing everything with custom hardware, custom firmware that really analyzed the air using machine learning and other processes to really see what's going on in the air. That's how we've been able to cut down on false positives by a factor of like I forget how much, and have super fast response times that are industry leading right now.
Yeah, I'd say it's really night and day from when we started to now. It's like it's almost embarrassing to look back and see what we started with, but it's like all part of the growing process. And we've made a lot of mistakes along the way, but failure is how you learn and how you succeed, so that you don't make that failure in the future. And the industry contacts we've made, our customers have told us, give us feedback that's extremely invaluable. Like Lance and I, we're in schools every day. So we don't know what's going on. So it's really our customer base, our partners that are kind of our ears, and they tell us, what we need to add, what we need to work on, etc. So we're very thankful for that, and very excited for the future and everything we have planned for that.
And we put our phone number and email on the label on every package. So if a customer doesn't like something, they call us right up, and that's a really good to do it right the first time.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, Lance always say this company is the first thing we wake up, think about when we wake up in the morning, the last thing we think about before we go to bed. So our customers can be, can sleep well knowing that we're thinking about them.
I like that. Again, I mean, it's just, life is so much better when you have something you're passionate about that way.
Absolutely.
It really gives you a sense of purpose and something to be excited about. And I think that's very cool. I used to put my name and number on every gateway, just trying to make a friend. It didn't work. So, well, great. Well, guys, I think this was a really awesome conversation. Really glad that you came on with us today, and really look forward to working with you over the coming years. I think you've built a really great product and really great company, and proud to be working with you.
Thank you. Same here, Josh and Aaron. Thank you for your time.
All right.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
See you soon. Bye-bye.